G'day, I'm Nate, coming to you from the wet Blue Mountains. I'm up in Blackheath at the moment, just on a week of rock climbing. Not much climbing has been happening lately. We've had a lot of rain, but luckily the sun's coming out today, so we're just packing our bags now, going to get a day of climbing in, and I just wanted to show you guys some of my Crag Bag Essentials for a day of sport climbing. So, first things first, I got my backpack. I try not to go for a backpack that's too big these days. 50 litres is a pretty good amount of storage for just a standard day of climbing. So I don't like to carry like the 70 litre pack like I used to, as you tend to put too much stuff in it and you carry too much weight. But it's full of gear at the moment, but I haven't packed properly. Go after that. Just any day of sport climbing, this is pretty much what's in my bag. So yeah, as you can see, I've got the 52 litre Mutant Osprey pack. So at the bottom, I usually like to put the things that I'm not going to need too early on. So I usually pack a rain jacket of some description. So this is my Marmot Goretex, and we might need that today, but it's looking pretty good.
There's a bit of like rain being blown in off the lip of the cave.
And then next after that, I usually put my Juma or Ascender. So as I like to take photos of rock climbing, this is what I need to get me up a rope if I do decide to take a photo when I'm out climbing. So I usually always take it anyway. That goes in the bottom because it's not an essential item, and if I need it, it's in the bottom of my pack. So I've got 2 pairs of shoes. Depending on the style of climbing, I might forego the second pair of shoes today and leave these ones at home because I'm not going to need those today. So I'm just going to take my Scarpa Instincts. I do love these shoes. Yeah, so I'm going to put those in near the bottom of the pack as well. Just like that. So I've got myself quite a substantial rack of Quickdraws here. Usually don't need that many for a day of climbing, for a day of sport climbing. But you never know, we might leave a few routes equipped today so we can run a few laps and get as much climbing as we can done in the sun while we can before it starts raining again. But yeah, I've got, obviously you can see I've got a good rack of varying size Quickdraws there, some 12 centimeters, some 16s, and then as well as some slings. You never know how wandery the routes are going to be, so having some longer Quickdraws and some extenders is usually a good option. Yeah, quite a solid rack of Quickdraws there, big rack of metal. They're going to go about the middle of the pack. I've also got my ATC and my Prusik, or 2 Prusiks, because I've dropped one before. Don't normally need that, but you never know when you're going to have to rappel off a route instead of lowering off, so that usually just lives in my pack anyway. It doesn't take up much space or weight, so I don't see the point in not having it. GriGri goes in next. I'm going to need that as well. I always belay with a GriGri. I find it's the safest and the most versatile piece of kit for belaying and descending ropes. And then my harness. Just a nice light sport harness, super comfy for a day of climbing. Good harness, I love it. Chalk bag. We can use real chalk in the outdoors, so my chalk bag always lives in a dry bag because otherwise you get chalk all sort of through your bag from when it just puffs out the bottom, even when you've got it closed up. So that's a hot little tip for you. Keep your chalk bag in a dry bag in your pack. And then my belay gloves. I brought them mostly here in the Blue Mountains because the forecast was still to be pretty cold, so having warm hands while you're belaying is good because then you're warm and ready to go for when it's your turn for climbing. Helmet, mandatory piece of kit, pretty much. Not everybody wears a helmet when they're climbing, myself included. But I do like having it when if I'm on a big week of climbing, I will take my helmet everywhere. If you're doing so much climbing, you never know. So you're better off having it than not having it, especially this one, the new Mammut helmet. It's super light and it's super comfy. So yeah, this is another new piece of kit. I've just upgraded my helmet. My old Black Diamond Half Dome is pretty tired. It's seen some days, and yeah, I thought it was about time for an upgrade. So I've got that one. It's super light, so I'm super stoked with that. Another Crag Essential first aid kit. I've been climbing once without a first aid kit and I had a very serious accident. So now every time I go to pack my first aid kit, and I think about whether I need it or not, I just always take it. Head torch. I always take a head torch climbing. The amount of days I've been out climbing and we've had a late exit from pages or wrapping off Tibro or something like that. And so having a head torch with a fresh set of batteries in before you go for a day of climbing is always a good thing to have, because you never know when you're going to leave late. And something that your neck will thank you for. The Metolius, I think these are called the Upshot Belay glasses. There's a couple of different styles out there. So I bought these a couple of years ago now, and they're really, really bloody good. I'll show you how weird they are. So you can probably see my eyes there. So yeah, they're really good for belaying. You can see your climber without having to be looking up and belaying and hurting your neck. Really good bit of kit, and they just live in the top of my pack, so I can decide to use them or not use them depending on my preference on the day, but they're always in my pack. And then last but not least is your rope. Now you can choose to use rope bags or choose not to use rope bags. It's totally a personal preference. My ropes all live in rope bags, but I don't always take the rope bag with me to the crag. They're good around these sort of environments because the ground can be quite dirty and sandy. You don't want that sort of stuff getting in your rope. So I probably will take this whole rope bag with me today. But otherwise, the mutant pack does have a rope strap. So when the pack's done up, there's a strap here, so I can flake the rope across the top of my pack, do the strap up to keep it in place, and then flip the lid on top of the rope, and it sits perfectly, which I probably do, and then just shove the bag inside my bag. That's all packed now. I don't have to redo that for later. I'm just going to chuck some food in there, my mid layer in there. I think I've got everything else for a day of sport climbing at Bowens Creek in the Blue Mountains. I'll start filming again when we get to the crag. No, I won't. I'll start filming on the way in. Maybe even the drive.
Alpine start, Alex.
Yeah, it is 11:59 a.m.